this out. I'm gonna lay out exactly what actually happened here, because I had it last night. I was close yesterday, but all the data points hadn't come out yet, right? So yesterday I did a live stream where I talked about the reshuffle. Obviously, we're talking about the UFC 279 reshuffle, right? So when I did my live stream last night, that was immediately following Khamzat Chimaev weighing in at 178.5, and I knew there was a work at play. Like there's a work. So I without having seen where it was going, I couldn't get to what the conclusion was. And I'm telling you, I know exactly what happened here. I know exactly what happened here. Like I'm talking, I know what they did. I know exactly why they did it. And I'm going to lay it all out on this live stream. I'm not going to be able to watch my chat, so I apologize. So you guys, it's just going to be one of those things. So I'm going to lay it out, and then you can, oh man, my camera's dirty. Hang on, let me clean this a little bit, you guys. I don't know if this is gonna make it better. Anyway, all right, so I'm gonna lay this out now, and then you can decide which you think is more likely, whether I'm exactly right or some other option, okay? So the first thing you gotta consider is, did Khamzat Chimaev really miss weight by 8.5 pounds, or was this a plan, okay? And the way that you're going to figure that out is you're going to basically assess the other circumstances around it. And what I mean by that is, A, how many times has Khamzat Chimaev ever had a problem with his weight? None. B, how often does anyone come in off weight by over 5 pounds? Like, insanely rare. Insanely rare. And outside of Costa in that one, in the Vettori fight, with like real, like top level professional guys, when does that ever happen? You know, incredibly rarely, right? But here's the other thing. So here's what I'm gonna lay out. I'm gonna tell you right now, I would bet my life that this was intentional, and I'm gonna tell you I'll start with why, okay? So here's the reason why they reshuffled the deck on this fight, is because, like I said yesterday, okay, when they made this fight in the first place, it was a negotiation tactic against Nate, okay? Like, the Sunset Clause story came out. They immediately, the same day, announced this fight. There was no one on this fight card indicating very clearly that they did not think this fight was going to happen, or there was something really fishy with this fight card, just top to bottom. Then you get to where we're like a month out, and they add 2 more fights, which coincidentally end up being the linchpins of reshuffling this thing into a way better card in perfect, seamless fashion, okay? The dead giveaway, okay, the number one dead giveaway is Kevin Holland and Rodriguez fighting at a catchweight. What? Like, you're putting a fight card together, okay? Who was clamoring for a fucking Daniel Rodriguez and Kevin Holland fight when they're in 2 separate weight classes, so much so that they're like, let's just create a catchweight at 180, which we never, ever do. And we're just going to do that for these 2 guys that no one was asking for a fight with. And it's like, oh, and then like coincidentally, when Khamzat Chimaev inexplicably comes in up 8.5 pounds, he'll just be the perfect weight to fight Kevin Holland, who he coincidentally got in a backstage fight with yesterday. Oh, and Li Jingliang, who's supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, he's going to be fighting Daniel Rodriguez, who's actually a 170 pounder. So this just kind of like worked out perfect. It's not a plan though, just worked out kind of perfect. And so to really get on board with this being a work, you need to understand why. Because yesterday, that's what I had wrong. What I had wrong was why. I knew it was a work, but I didn't know why, right? And now that they reshuffled the deck and I see who Nate's fighting, now I know exactly why they did this. I know exactly why they did it. They did it because, like I said, when they made this fight, this was not a traditional matchmaking situation. Like, you know, it's like you have a lot of different factors at play. You're in a contract negotiation with the biggest star in your fucking sport. Okay, now that's, I can just say unequivocally, after watching this week, Nate Diaz is the biggest star the UFC has. You might push back on that, I'm telling you, it's right. Conor maybe is Conor's probably a bigger draw, but Conor's not active, and just because Conor exists doesn't make Nate any less valuable. He is tremendously valuable, okay? It doesn't matter how many fights he's won or lost. The UFC's business is not figuring out who's the champion. The UFC's business is selling fights, okay? The UFC's business is selling fights. And the way that you sell fights is with your stars. And when you've got the biggest star in your sport telling you he's not going to re-sign, you keep throwing more money at him, and he won't sign. The normal blueprint is to devalue him as much as possible on his way out. That is the way that you play it. And in this case, they threw him into Chechnyan fire against Khamzat Chimaev, both probably kind of out of spite, but mostly more like, they're playing, they're just like, they got the sunset clause thing, so they throw this thing together. And the reaction from the public, this is the key, okay? This is the key. The reaction from the MMA public largely was, wow, this is super fucked up, right? Now, I've gone on record, and I will go on record again, that the this is super fucked up narrative, I'm not on board with it. Like, I'm not on board with it because Nate is his own man, dude. Like, Nate can make his own decisions. Like, when I talk about other topics having to do with fucking people in society and their, it's like they want to blame other people for whatever. It's like, no. And I, like, my ideology on that remains true when I analyze combat sports. Nate Diaz is a grown man. He has more experience in this shit than any of us. So if they offer him a fight and he takes it, I don't understand that narrative. But what the point is, though, is that was a very, very prevalent opinion among a lot of people who have a lot of reach, right? A lot. So what they're saying is they're like, okay, like, forget about the contract negotiation. Nate Diaz is like 37 years old, 38 years old. He's been fighting with the UFC for 16 years. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame for sure. And he's like he's one of the most beloved fighters in the UFC, and it's his last fight on his contract. He's fought for you guys 30 times. And on his way out, you're gonna give him Khamzat Chimaev, the #1 contender, who Nate Diaz hasn't won a fight since he fought Anthony Pettis, who lost every single fight since then. And you're gonna give him Khamzat Chimaev, who is inevitably going to take him down and beat the living shit out of him. So that is like the prevailing opinion of the MMA analysts, right? And so Dana pushed back on that. He's like, give me a break, dude. He wanted Francis. Okay, well, guess what? When you're Dana, Hunter, these guys who run the business, they have to actually, outside of what they say in the media, they have to actually be strategizing about the brand, okay? Like, the opinion of the public is incredibly important as it relates to any brand, and certainly the UFC. So, before the fight, when everyone could still say, dude, Nate could pull this out, bro. Nate could fucking pull this out, right? Then, when people are all, oh, it's really fucked up, they give him this fight. It's like, all right, but there's still a chance that Nate wins, okay? There's still a chance Nate wins. If Khamzat goes out there and takes Nate down and beats him fucking senseless for dude, Nate is the toughest fucking guy on earth, dude. Like, the actual definition of what I don't know about a dictionary, but what a game-bred dog is. Anybody who's ever heard, Masvidal, game-bred, okay? Game-bred, what that means, for those of you who don't know, is it's a dog fighting term, okay? It's a dog fighting term for game-bred dogs that will, no matter what, you put them in the cage. There are bait dogs, like bait dogs that just kind of like they roll over and they let like they're never gonna beat another dog, and they use those dogs to build confidence on fighter dogs. But a game-bred dog, no matter how fucked up it is, no matter how wrecked the fucking dog is, if it has like function of one leg, it will drag itself into the cage and try to keep fighting with 3 broken legs. Like, that's a game-bred dog, okay? So Nate is a game-bred human, okay? Like, the reason he's never been stopped is because there is absolutely no quit in him whatsoever. And so what that means is the way this fight was very likely going to play out is Khamzat was going to take Nate down and was going to beat his face into oblivion, okay? It's unlikely that he was going to be able to submit him because Nate is in black belt in jiu-jitsu. So what's going to happen is he's going to get taken down, and Khamzat is going to absolutely fucking pulverize him for fucking as long as Nate could withstand it. And eventually, Nate was eventually going to wilt, and he was going to fucking get stopped. And it was going to probably look very similar to the Glover Teixeira and fucking Anthony Smith fight. And at that moment, now you have to go back to the UFC. Oh, dude, this was an unethical fight to make, right? All of those opinions that had been out there, okay? If they said that beforehand, after Nate got beat. All right. Sorry about that. My phone overheated. They were like, Jesus, this guy's on fire. And my phone just literally shut off. So yeah. So I don't know where that cut off, but the bottom line is this. After Khamzat beat Nate for 4 rounds, whatever, and Nate ends up unable to continue, a bait dog that has no fucking legs, pulverized into oblivion. Dude, the UFC was going to face backlash like they've never seen in the history of the company. Bottom line, they knew that. Because if they were saying that beforehand, absolutely without a shred of doubt, if Khamzat really, really put it on Nate and hurt him, you're talking real backlash. Not just about backlash of I don't know. Not just you're gonna lose, lose fans. You'll legit lose fans. So, and so, at the end of the day, so it's okay, do you think it's more likely that they randomly shuffled the deck the night before the fights and ended up with a way better fucking fight card? Or that there happened to be a fucking catchweight 180-pound fight on the card, that Khamzat Chimaev, for the first time ever, misses weight and puts on one of the most historically bad weight cuts in history while being seen out in public eating fucking food and drinking fluids the night before? Do you think that that's more realistic, that he just completely said, fuck it, I am not a professional anymore, I'm just gonna go out and eat with Darren Till and these guys, and then, oh, oopsie, I'm fucking over by 8.5 pounds, and then the UFC just randomly fucking shuffles into the best card ever? Or do you think that maybe they looked at it and they were like, okay, so what's the most likely outcome? Most likely outcome is Khamzat smashes Nate. They're all, what are people saying in the media? They're basically saying that we're sending Nate to an execution. They're all right, well, what's the backlash gonna look like if Nate gets beat like that? It's unpredictable, but probably really, really fucking bad. Probably really fucking bad. And here's the thing. Do I know this 100%? No, I don't. But that's why I'm saying just go ahead and weigh out those two options. Those are your two options. Okay? If you want to find a conspiracy that makes sense, you always have to have a why. You always have to have a why. And that's the thing with the Colby and Masvidal thing, where when the thing happened with the steakhouse, I had a why that I couldn't talk about. That's why I was still like a big why. I still can't talk about it. But nonetheless, but with this, it's this is just otherwise none of it makes sense. Why is Daniel Rodriguez and Holland at a catchweight at 180? Because you have to justify breaking this is the point. You have to have a reason why the fight that you made is not happening. You have to have a reason. Because if you don't want to have Khamzat go in there and pulverize Nate, you can't just be hey, we thought better of it, the backlash in the media, we realized, yeah, this is probably a really fucking bad idea. So, publicly we're gonna be hey, Nate has no chance against Khamzat, so we're scrapping the fight. Dude, they're trapped. They're trapped, that just is what it is. And if you think that that's impossible, man, you live in a different world than is the one that actually exists. But but about the actual fights, here's what I think is going to happen. I'm excited for Daniel Rodriguez versus the Leech. I think Rodriguez is probably going to win, though. He's fucking, dude, he's got clean ass hands, dude. But But then on Holland against Khamzat, I mean, listen, dude, the matchup is horrendous for Kevin Holland. Horrendous for Kevin Holland. It's a horrendous matchup. Kevin Holland is nasty, but where has he been shown to be? Oh wait, I forgot. I forgot. I just put this right back on the stand where my fucking phone overheated last time. Okay, so where has Kevin Holland been shown to be vulnerable? Like when he's lost, how has he lost? Oh, he got taken down and held down. Right. Yeah, exactly. So his weakness is getting taken down and held down. No. Hey, what's Khamzat's biggest strength that no one has had an answer for whatsoever? Yeah, like his ability to take guys down and just pulverize them from there. Right. Yes, that's correct. Yes, that. And so if I mean, first of all, Holland's gonna have to try to get nasty early and hurt Khamzat, because the longer the fight goes, because if Khamzat gets him down, like, and here's the thing, dude, like I realize Kevin is he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but Gilbert Burns is a 4-time world champion. His jiu-jitsu actually scared Khamzat a little bit to where Khamzat was willing to stand with him. That, like, you know, again, where I'm going right now to 6 plates, my professor makes every black belt that I've ever seen him roll against look like, I mean, they have no chance. Like, they have no chance. They have absolutely no chance. There are big fucking levels to jiu-jitsu. So, like, Kevin Holland's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Cool. That definitely does not mean that that's going to scare Khamzat Chimaev, just because Gilbert was able to kind of, you know, spook him a little bit off of his back so that he would make it stand. So I think the highest likelihood is that Khamzat takes Kevin down, and that's the story of the fight. I mean, you know, like, I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to be underneath Khamzat Chimaev for any amount of time, so who knows how that goes. And Kevin Holland is one of my favorite fighters, just for the record. I fucking love Kevin Holland. I love Kevin Holland. I'll root for him 100% of the time. And then, and with Tony versus Nate, you want to know what my fucking prediction is? Who fucking cares? Honest to God, that's like my prediction for Nate versus Tony is who the fuck cares? Let's go. Let's fucking go. And honestly, that should be the answer for every single MMA fan in the world, dude. And like, and honestly, you know what? I owe the UFC an apology. I really do, dude, because like I said, yesterday I smelled a rat instantly, dude. I smelled a rat instantly, but my conclusion initially, because I was like, this is impossible that he missed by this much. This makes no sense. But I didn't know where they were going to take it. You know, the stream that I did last night was maybe the work is to keep Nate from fighting the last fight on his contract. That's what the work was about. And that was wrong. That was completely wrong. And I apologize to them, because what they actually did is they made the best fucking fight ever. And it looks like they probably just got Tony his biggest payday of all time. And they're giving Nate the best possible fight they could give him for his last fight. And it's fucking awesome, dude. Like, it's fucking awesome. I want to give the UFC tremendous credit for this play. Like, tremendous credit. This is the classiest, best fucking case scenario that you could possibly do for the fighters, for the fans, for everybody. And they deserve credit there. Because like I said, dude, you know, in like the negotiation portion, you know, like where we're talking about like, you know, oh, they just throw, you know, Khamzat Chimaev in there, whatever. Dude, this is combat sports, and business is war. Like, bottom line, when you're negotiating, you fucking do what you, I mean, you know, within, you know, like, I'm not talking unethical shit, but within reason, dude. Like, you use the weapons and leverage that you have to try to drive the outcome that you want, because that's what they're doing against you. That's what everyone is doing to each other. So how the UFC played the negotiation up until this fight, I have no problem with anything that they did. But again, how they ended up playing this out was the classiest, most respectful fucking thing they could have possibly done, dude. They gave Nate a winnable fight against a legend who never got his payday, and now he's gonna get his payday. And it's fucking beautiful, actually, dude. It's amazing. It's the best possible outcome. And like I said, the what's your prediction for the fight? Who fucking cares is my answer. That's my fucking answer. Who fucking cares? I don't care even a little bit, dude. And I will say this. This has the potential to be like literally the best fight in the history of the fucking sport, too. Because Nate knows it's his last fight in the UFC, or maybe. Tony knows where he's at. And these are the two most savage, game-bred fucking fighters potentially in the history of the sport against each other. And neither of them has nuclear knockout power, okay? So just to put it in perspective what this fucking fight is on paper, two of the biggest legends in the history of the sport, both with historically shocking cardio, shocking historical ability to take damage, and then also a will to continue to fight that's unmatched by anyone except the other guy that's in the octagon with them tonight. And also neither of them has nuclear one-shot knockout power, okay? So what that looks like if you're a fight, analyst, is this is going to be the best fight in the fucking history of the sport, potentially. Because neither of them is gonna shoot for a takedown either. These two fucking guys are gonna stand in front of each other and they are going to fucking put on the show of the decade. That's my prediction for the fucking fight. What's my prediction for the fight? These two motherfuckers are gonna put on the fucking fight of the decade. That's my prediction. And I'm here for it, dude. I can't wait, dude. I cannot fucking wait. This fight card is so much better now, dude. It's so much better. Although I do think that Khamzat versus Holland fight that's sketchy, man. I mean, honestly, it's a good fight in that it's a catch weight, so whatever. But like, Kevin Holland is a superstar. Khamzat is a superstar. I think under normal circumstances, they wouldn't have these guys. Well, certainly under normal circumstances, they definitely would not have these guys fight each other. But the fight card, this is gonna be an enormous fucking fight card. They're gonna do big numbers, and they deserve it. But but stylistically, if you're like, hey Kevin, who do you want to fight next? I mean, damn near the fucking last guy on the list would be Khamzat Chimaev, I would assume. Like Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson took Kevin Holland down and held him there the entire fight, right? And Derek Brunson's got a nasty ground game. He's not fucking Khamzat Chimaev. You know what I mean? Khamzat would fucking ragdoll Brunson. That's the thing that's the thing when people are thinking about Khamzat fighting now, I think they're visualizing the Gilbert Burns fight as if because he fought standing in that fight that his ground skills go away. It's like, nah, dude. Styles make fights. Gilbert Burns, 4-time world champion in jiu-jitsu, threatened an armbar early, was fucking nasty on the ground. And so Khamzat was like, if Khamzat's feeling danger, which he's not used to, he's out of there. Anyway, that's what I got. So if you think that's a crazy conspiracy theory, then I disagree. I think what's crazy is to believe, honestly what's crazy is to believe that Khamzat Chimaev came in 8.5 pounds overweight randomly, and that Kevin Holland happened to be fighting on that card at a catch weight of 180, which happened to be within 1.5 pounds of the fucking weight that Khamzat Chimaev came into the fight. Can you guys think of any other? Here's a good question. Can anyone think of a single time in history, when the UFC did a catch weight at 180 pounds? How about that? How about that? Think of one fight in the history of the sport where the UFC, Ukraine, that every day in human history.